There are many ways to apply primer and cement. What way's the best and what way do you do it? So it all starts with a good fitting and a good clean cut on the PVC pipe. Now, there's different ways to cut the pipe, but what you're wanting is a square cut. And as you see, this one is square. And I know this one is good. We actually cut this with pipe cutters. Now, you can do that, but it leaves a little lip on the outside and it leaves a big lip on the inside. Now, when it comes to PVC, especially if it's for a drain line, you really don't want any kind of a lip like that. It can actually catch toilet paper, flushable wipes, anything at all like that. Now, the other end, we cut with PVC. Now, it's good and clean, it's almost straight, but we're gonna go through and we're going to ream the inside and we're gonna bevel it and show you a couple of different ways that we would do that. So let's get some safety glasses on, let's get some gloves on, and let's get started. That was quick, okay. Man, that was kind of quick. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and put this in here and show you a couple of different ways to ream it and bevel it and get it ready. Now the fitting, look, we know this is a good fitting. You've got a bevel in there in the bottom of the fitting where this comes down to. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in here and get ready to work with it. So I've actually seen plumbers use abrasive cloth. Take it along the edge, come around like this, and it actually works pretty good. Now, what they're doing here is they're just getting that sharp edge off. That way, it doesn't push all the glue out when you push this joint together. Now, this does not take off a lot of plastic, but it rounds that edge. It makes it easier to work with. It makes it slide in easier. So you get the outside done, and just wipe down the inside. What you're doing here, really, you're just deburring it. Now, when you cut it with the Sawzall, which that is one way that we cut it, and that's the way that probably we cut more than any other way. The good thing about it, after you do it for a long time, you get to where you cut fairly straight. This is not perfect, but it's pretty straight. So if you look at it, you've got a good, smooth, round edge, inside and outside. It's been reamed, it's been beveled. That's ready to go. So now on this end, you would go ahead and apply the glue and primer. But now I'm gonna show you the other end, the end that we cut with the pipe cutters. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in here. And this time we're gonna take a file. And what we're gonna do is take the outside hard edge off. Now, as you see, this file takes off a lot more of the plastic than the abrasive cloth does. And I know a lot of you plumbers right now are saying, yeah, we don't do that. It takes way too long or whatever, and that's fine. We all do things different. I don't say everything that I do is right or perfect or the only way. Now I'm doing the same thing on the inside. Just literally taking off that rough edge. The reason being, I don't want to leave any kind of an edge in there that can actually cause problems later, stopping up people's plumbing. And that's exactly what that sharp edge will do. You've got this end that we did with the abrasive cloth. Not too bad. It took off the sharp edges. And on this one here, we use the file. It actually gives a good bevel all the way around. Now we're ready to go. Now working at Texas Instruments, we wanted to make sure we did things nice, neat, very clean, everything looked good. Line your fitting up where it's gonna go, make a mark, and actually I can tell right where it is. We taped off our joints. The reason being, the engineer we worked for did not want primer running all over everything. And I gotta tell you, they look really good when you're done. Put the tape back just a little bit further because I wanna make sure that they could see the primer. And that's a big deal when you're getting inspections. Some inspectors want purple primer. They wanna see it, they wanna see plenty of it. Some don't care, but when you're working with an engineer and he's like, I want it done this way, you make sure you do it. So first thing we're gonna do is get the primer on. I like to get as much of it off the brush as I can because I don't want it running everywhere. Now, on this, you come right up onto the tape. The reason being, that's what the tape's there for, is to keep it from running further down. And one thing that I do is I like priming the very end of it. The reason being, I'm gonna apply a little bit of cement there too. I want it to seal all the way down deep inside the joint where that bevel is in there. And if I go in right and I've got glue, it'll seal off all the way around. So that's exactly what I want to do. Now this is 2-inch pipe. This is probably the biggest pipe. I may go to 3 because the fitting depth is not that much difference, but this is probably the biggest that I would use with these small daubers. And what I mean by the small dauber is you've got the little bitty ones like this, which are great for 1/2 inch, 3/4. I'd even go up to 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, 2 inch, somewhere like that. But then you've got the bigger daubers. Now these are great for 3 inch, 4 inch. It could have been used here, but I really do like these little ones. That way you can work with it. Now it's the same for the cement. So make sure that you know when you get your glue and primer, what are you getting? What size dauber are you getting? What size pipe are you gonna be working with? If you use this on 1/2 inch and 3/4, a lot of times that dauber is gonna be too big. When you go to push it in a fitting, it's gonna push all your primer or cement back out. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the cement ready. And again, we're going with the small dauber. Now, one thing too on the dauber size, there's actually a long dauber. I was the superintendent over the indoor plumbing at Great Wolf Lodge here in Grapevine, Texas. And we had to put together pipes 16 and 20 inches in diameter, so you've got fittings that are a whole lot deeper. Having a long dauber makes that easy. You'd be there all day just putting glue or primer on with these. It's a long dauber, it's in a gallon can, literally you put it in there, it's got a roller you roll around, it makes it so much better. So knowing what dauber size you need is part of the deal. You wanna make sure you're using the right one. Okay, so when it comes to the cement, again, it's like the primer. Get it on your dauber good. I like to just, I don't want to wipe it all off, but I just kind of roll it around and let all the excess drip off. Now, a lot of people go straight for the pipe. I was taught, put it in the fitting first. The reason being, when I was taught that, I was working outside in a field, roughing in apartment complexes, and it's kind of breezy. And if you put it on the pipe first, it could actually start drying before I could get it on the fitting. Now remember, you want to always allow yourself room for a 1/4 turn. I know it doesn't always happen, but it's what you want to try to do. So we're going to put the glue inside the fitting, then we're going to put it on the pipe, we're going to line it up here, bring it up, and stick a level on it. So let's get it done. Even though I'm rotating a 1/4 turn, and if you look, I'm putting it back on the fitting, I'm not putting a lot down front because I'm going to get that from inside here. That way it gets pushed up on that bevel. 1/4 turn, we're going to come across, push in, and turn as we go in. Now, I've got it all the way in. I'm gonna check my level right here, get it right where I want it, and then I'm gonna hold it for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you let go, it's good, it's not hydraulicing out. I know that I'm gonna get a good joint here. The way that I pushed it in, the way I turned it, move that glue all around, everything looks good. Now I can go to my next joint. Now, one thing you want to remember is to have a towel or rag, anything with you in case you need to wipe the joint. You know, you wipe on the bottom, anything like that. But then remember, before everything dries up, go back and remove your tape and look how good that joint looks. That's a joint that anybody walking by is gonna see everything's nice, neat, straight. It looks great. I'm not complaining about this one up here, but which one do you think looks better? Taking your time and doing a job right is critical. I also, and this is just me, I always line my letters up. If you went into one of my roughs that I used to do, all my letters were turned the same direction, face up. It makes a big deal. It lets people know that you take pride in your work. It was really neat because I called for an inspection one day and I had an apprentice with me. Well, the inspector pulls up and we're walking the job, and I had told the apprentice to go to the trailer and grab my 2-foot level. Me and the inspector are walking, we're looking at everything, and the inspector stops a second and he looks over at something. Boy, the apprentice is there, he's like, do you need a level? Do you need a level? And the inspector looked at it and said, do you see the way the letters are turned up? Everything's facing the same direction. It's bedded perfectly. A plumber that does stuff like that is not gonna put it in where it has backfall. He says, I don't have to worry about putting a level on it. So my recommendation to you is take pride in your work, make it look the very best that you can, and do it that way every single time. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. I hope you learned something today. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, helping you make more money in the trades.